Hi, Frenchaire. I think we are on live already. So just to remind everyone that this is a very special event today. And I have Miss Frenchaire Gardner all the way from the US. And even before she comes on, let me do a 3-minute background description. It is 11:02 p.m. in Singapore on a Thursday night. So we are close to midnight here in Singapore, and we are live on Facebook in Singapore and throughout the world, and also live on YouTube channel. And of course, you can find me and Frenchaire in our Facebook group, where we are together in a global digital metropolis on my Facebook group. So thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in now live and even later on when it's being replayed. And we have Miss Frenchaire Gardner, and she's going to talk about herself, her brand, what she does in America, where she's from, what she stands for, her philosophy for her business, and what she does for her podcast, and what she does for the Black businesses in America, and what more. We're going to talk about her writing as a contributing writer for the book Gold Nuggets for Entrepreneurs. Thank you, Frenchaire. How are you? It's been quite a few months since we last spoke. Welcome to Singapore.
Thank you, Vicky Esther, for having me on your show again, and have me a part of your book project. As you stated, my name is Frenchaire Gardner. I am here in Dallas, Texas, and my brand is BNS LLC. And my brand is about mostly collaborating with other Black and Brown business owners. We've kind of had to pivot since pandemic, but what we primarily do is collaborate to sell other Black and Brown business products and get them more attention. Mainly though, what I've been focusing on with my brand is my children's book, which is Mommy and Daddy, Do You Still Love Me Anymore? Which I wrote for my children as a love letter to my children, Joseph Jr., Frenchaire, to Melchizedek and Sarai. We are separated. They are adopted by another family. And so I wrote a love letter to them. And this book, Mommy and Daddy, Do You Still Love Me, also gives hope to children and adults who have experienced the foster care system or the adoption system, to let them know that their biological parents still love them, still care for them, still think about them. I am also a co-author of a couple of anthologies, a #1 Amazon best-selling book. It's a 90-day devotional. It's called Finding Joy in the Journey, Volume 2. And Vanessa Blackwell gathered 90 authors to write on the subject of finding joy in difficult times. And so I'm a co-author of that book. And also, thirdly, I am a co-author of a audiobook series, and it's called The Single Saved Struggle. The Struggle Continues, and it was produced by Angie B Productions. And this story, we authors tell some of our experiences during the pandemic. And so that's basically what I've been doing with the brand, just selling books and trying to get my books marketed. Grateful for all of the bookstores who are carrying my children's book, Mommy and Daddy, Do You Still Love Me Anymore? And thankful for the opportunity to get to write with you, Vicky Esther.
Frenchaire, if you participate in this particular project, you are an international writer too, because we haven't marketed the book, but at this particular moment, I really want to showcase you as an author, as a business owner, as someone who champions Black businesses, and you have a very special podcast platform, right? Would you like to tell us about your podcast platform?
Yes, Vicky. So my podcast is called A News You Can Use Podcast, and it's in its 3rd season this year. And A News You Can Use podcast is about promoting, is all about promoting Black and Brown business owners, because I believe that as a whole, BIPOC business owners are really doing some amazing and impactful things in the world, and it really impacting their communities. But the mainstream media does not really hear about it, is not promoting what we are doing. And so my podcast is geared to promote just that Black and brown business owners, let them tell their stories of how amazing they are, how amazing that what the things they're doing to come to yes, to impact others. And a News You Can Use podcast can be streamed wherever you listen to your podcast. So go listen right now. And leave
Okay,
a
tell
review.
us again the name. News You Can Use podcast.
A News You Can Use podcast.
A News You Can Use podcast. And I think that's a great mission, Frenchaire. Okay, and now that you've talked about that, your book, you being a very successful author yourself and a very successful platform with a great mission that you have behind you, tell us about some of these challenges and the scenario it is for Black businesses, because you talked about the mainstream media is not showcasing some of these successes of business owners and Black businesses. Tell us, what's that big macro scenario like in America? Because this is an international podcast you're on, and I'm in Singapore. We don't know a lot about the American economy. Tell us what's happening there regarding the Black economy, and then tell us like what are the challenges.
Oh, good question. Black economy. That's good. Well, we do have a Black economy here in America. There are lots of Black business owners in America, and actually female Black business owners has become, one of the greatest of leaders of the Black economy. And so I'm pretty proud of that. I was actually part of a conference, and I learned a whole lot about business owners, women business owners. I would say some of our challenges, though, Vicky, is just getting funding. We need money, to make our businesses run, and the access to the capital is pretty tough. So you really have to. I feel like you have to be in the know and know people in the right networks to access the funds.
Okay, tell us about, now this is really very interesting. And I think it is something that should be explored for all small business owners. Access to funds, access to capital. What's the situation like traditionally for even for other kind of businesses?
I would say you just really have to have all your ducks in a row to access funding. Um, I think it's really important that I think it's about who you know. It might not be about what your business is about or all that. I think it's really about who you know, and if you can connect with different organizations that's their goals to help businesses, and particularly Black businesses. I think that helps a lot. I found that there are resources like the SBA here in Texas, the Lift Fund for women, also the DEC, that's a resource here in Dallas, Texas. And I think it's just really about being able to partner with the right organizations to be able to get access to the funds.
When you say there are challenges and funding is one of the main challenges, tell us in America and outside of America, you talked about some of these names. Do you go to a investor, a retail investor, individual? Do you go to the banks? Do you go to a investment network? What are these avenues or these streams of avenues, for example, are available?
There are several different opportunities to get funding. I've noticed a lot of different grants. Partner, Hello Alice is one of the avenues that I see giving away grants or having doing invitations to grants. Goldman Sachs. Who else is Visa has been a good resource. Um, there are, really Google is going to be your best friend, depending on which part of America you're in or which part of the world you're in. Different organizations are giving money, grants, because they see that there is a struggle to get money in a mainstream way. Like, just being able to apply for a loan at just a traditional bank. Every business isn't going to be equipped to do that, because everybody's not going to have enough sales to qualify for a traditional loan.
Or even writing a business plan, right? To present it to the
you definitely need a business plan. That's a real thing. So it's just a lot of different I say barriers that could keep you from the money. But there, and on the other side, there is a lot of options where you can receive funds. Corporations are giving money away these days, and because they understand that there is a struggle, that there is a gap in between blacks receiving and business receiving funds. So I do see people, corporations targeting black businesses to give us funds. And so I think that's what's necessary. Also, there's called I can't think of what the acronym stands for, but the acronym is CDFI, and those are particular banks that help business owners, and specifically minority business owners. They are community based, and they are the liaisons for banks to give out the funds. So I definitely would say, if you're a business owner out there, write you out a business plan, discussing how you plan to grow and how do you plan to do your thing. And then that's going to be your the base and the basis of how you're able to get some funding. You just make sure you're transparent with your numbers, and I think that'll help a lot.
Wow, that's a lot. And it really shows that, Frenchaire, you have been going through this entrepreneurship journey yourself. And you talked about, marketing plan. And your platform and news you can use is also to help business owners promote themselves, promote their presence. How do you think how do you think the importance of marketing is for small business owners?
It is integral. Marketing is an integral part of the business plan, because if you're not doing any marketing, Vicky Esther, then who knows about your business, right? That's really the whole goal for the marketing, is to put your business out in front of the people who needs to see it. And with a strategy, you're not going all willy-nilly, and and you have an idea of what you're wanting to accomplish and what your goals are. And I think that helps a lot. And I'm definitely no expert at it. I definitely would say, if you're not an expert at marketing, I would say hire somebody, or either, team up with some people who are experts in marketing. Because that at the SEOs and the, get all of that right is really
it's really essential now.
It is
a very competitive market space. Frenchaire, just to explain to the viewers and explain to readers, listeners, in America, it's such a capitalistic country. And I always hear people say, oh, if you need every service you need, you have to pay. Like, you need to pay for a coach, you need to pay for consultancy, You need to pay for someone to guide you to write a business plan. You know, it seems that everything is just getting someone to help you. It seems that it's a lot of money. How does it cost? And how do you go about getting someone to help a business like that?
Well, I think it's all about finding your resources and finding your niche. Sometimes you might come across a situation where people will help you for free, but I don't think that's the consensus. Most time, you know, people want to be paid for their time, and that's totally understandable. You know, I want to be paid for my time. You want to be paid for your time. So it's totally understandable. It's just a matter of finding who's going to be the right fit for you. You know, everybody is not for everybody. I do think that, you know, you have to do some research. You know, you have to find the people who's going to work for your business and for you, and how your personality is. I think that there's just people out here willing to help you. It's just a matter of you having to put yourself out there and say, hey, I need the help. And so I definitely think there's professionals, lots of professionals who are experts at what they do that are willing to help you. It's just a matter of you going out there and getting the resources.
Yeah. And, you know, there's a lot of mentors out there, business mentors out there. In your course of your own business, how much do you think they will really help in terms of getting a mentor and paying the mentor and making sure that you get the returns from payment from them?
So
vis-a-vis like you reading it up from YouTube, watching YouTube, reading something up from Google, vis-a-vis getting someone to be on board your business or a consultant and try to get a return from that payment to the consultant. Which do you think it's effective?
Good question. I haven't paid anybody to help me. Honestly, I need
I
to.
haven't paid anyone myself.
What a surprise. You know, I definitely need the help, Vicky. I definitely can see that. I believe that if I had a coach or a mentor, I think that my business would be on a different playing field. I just think that, but you got to have the funds, right? So you got to have the funds. I definitely think that of having a mentor and a coach, all of those things are necessary, are needed, you know, especially.
Do you have an organization in America, whether it's for Black businesses, Black owners, or just brown, or just for anyone, like a kind of a platform whereby people can just go and ask for advice? Complimentary, without payment. Do you have a platform like this?
Yes. The SBA is a good resource.
That's a government-based association.
Yeah, that's government. Another organization here, in particular in Dallas, Texas, is the Lift Fund. They work particularly with women business owners, whatever color. Also the DEC at Redbird, that's another local resource where all they do is focus on business and providing resources. In St. Louis, another organization is called We Power STL. That's another organization where they're just focusing on building businesses, and it's not about cost and charging all the time. So I love that. Another organization I worked with in St. Louis is called Next Core. They're a co-working space. There are several organizations that are built just to support businesses and business owners. It's just you have to find it. You know, you have to really research and get to the resources, because they are there.
Yeah, yeah. Because I'm reflecting on the situation in Singapore. You've got certain platforms, um, you can get certain help, but getting them just on a one-time basis, yes, they can help you, but having them going through the business journey with you, it's quite a challenge because, they are being pulled by many, many forces themselves. Um, and a lot of people want to get coaches. They want to get business mentors, but I think the challenge is that where do they start once they come in here? It's like, okay, you're going to tell them about the whole story. Either they come in to pinpoint like the weakness, or to give you a particular idea. But I do see it really hard just relying on a mentor. But I do see someone who mentors the business owner, not just the business. You know what I'm trying to say? But mentoring the person, like how you push it through. And I think that's exactly what you do, isn't it? You're providing a platform for people. You may not have the answers, but getting the people mentally prepared. This is the journey you need to go through. There are lots of challenges. There are lots of organizations. You do have to get the resources to go and find it. Am I right, Frenchaire?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can see that you've got such a wealth of information. Okay, before we even go to the next question, where can any business owners look for you and your podcast again?
Okay, thanks for asking
You can be a
about this.
consultant.
Yes, so please follow my business. It's called BE and Us LLC, and you can follow me on Instagram. That's where I mostly am. Instagram, on Facebook, BNS LLC. I'm on TikTok under my first name. That's Frenchaire.
Wow.
And my website is, because I'm under the process of just working. I'm working on a marketing strategy for my own business. So I really would like for you to just come to my website and follow me there. That's bit.ly /Frenchy Books, capital
Friendship books,
FRENCHY,
yes. I went there
capital
before. Yeah.
OK.
Yeah, I went to your
Yes.
website before. Okay, a
Yes.
couple more questions. You talked about protecting the business, right? Protecting the business. Now, in any kind of businesses, you want to protect the business ideas, and of course, your business design, your products, etc. In your podcast, in the course of your book, is there a particular one or two examples that you come across a business owner who actually were quite successful, the growth process?
Um, I've had several successful business owners. One of the business owners that I interviewed, Charity. She's actually a millionaire in her business. She has several business models. One, she owns I want to say it's a daycare, couple of
Mm,
daycares, and I can't remember exactly all of the businesses, but
mm,
she was definitely a successful business owner, in income, like actual, millionaire. And she came and shared some of her tips, and quite a few of the business owners that I've interviewed are very successful in what they do in their industry.
wow. Definitely a lot of stories you can listen out there from your podcast. For the next 5 minutes, Frenchaire, is there anything you would like to tell us regarding the advice you would like to give to Black business owners? I would
Well,
say that minority business owners.
sure. I would say have a business plan. I think that's one of the most important things, to
Mm,
actually know what the purpose of your business is,
mm,
and where you see your business going.
mm,
Also, I would say do collaborations. Collaborations like what we are doing today. really is to me a win-win for both parties involved.
Yep.
Because it leverages not only your energy and audience, but you leverage the
Mm,
audience of another company, and
mm,
I think there's power in that.
yep.
Um, and I really would say connect with the local resources in your
Mm,
areas, the local business areas. There's going to be some business chambers or something that you can connect to continue to
mm,
support you and your business.
sure.
I
That's
think
very
that's a real,
important.
yeah, it is.
I mean, that's like getting into a support group, a community of similar business owners. Frenchaire, it's such a, even though it's such a short session we had, you really have shown that you are an expert in your particular area, particularly in what you do. And also, I really like that mission and news you can use. Now, even before we sign off here, tell us, how did that inspiration come about?
So the podcast
Yeah,
was not even a thing. I actually, like many years ago when I was in the insurance industry,
yeah.
I had spoken to a girlfriend and she was like, you should become a podcaster and on YouTube and show yourself as an expert in the insurance business, because I was looking for ways to market
Mm,
my business.
yeah.
And I never did it. And so one day in St. Louis, I say around, I guess that was around 2019-ish or
Yeah.
2018, I can't recall. I was in St. Louis, Missouri, and I went to a co-working space to do my business, to work my business. Usually I worked from home, and they were having a free they was giving free memberships to come experience the co-working space called Next Core in St. Louis. And so I went there to work, and they had an evening class for podcasting. And so I went to the
Mm,
podcasting class that day, and not sure what was gonna come of it. But anyway, the one of the first questions they asked was, "What is the name of your podcast and what is it about?" Well, Vicky Esther, I didn't have a podcast at the time. I really just made everything up right then. I decided that the name of my podcast would be News You Can Use Podcast, because that was the hashtag. Thank you. That's the hashtag that I was using on my social media platforms whenever
mm.
I shared information that I had gotten from the community. I was giving the
Wow, you were
information
just
back.
sharing it
Yes,
for free. Yeah,
just
wonderful.
sharing the resources.
Yeah.
And so decided in that moment that the podcast would be promoting Black and brown businesses, because I felt like we don't get as much shine and media exposure as we should. And so
Mm.
right in that moment, that's where the podcast was started, and how I the vision was branded.
Yes, and tell us a little bit more about yourself. Now we talked about the business, the formal things. Now tell us about yourself, because Frenchaire, I've known you for almost more than a year. Do you remember when I first interviewed you was in January 2021, or in December 2020? I think December or January 2021. So it's over a year.
Yes.
That was first time I spoke to you. And then after that, I went to your platform to talk about business, fundraising, branding, marketing, etc. Tell us about you as a person. Tell us about your personal journey. And I remember you did speak about you working in Italy. Am I right? Or did I hear wrongly?
No, I was going. So in 2019, I was living in St. Louis, Missouri,
Yep.
and I was going to go teach English in China.
Wow.
I had made up my mind that I wanted to get out the States, wanted to get out of St. Louis, and I was going to go ahead to China.
You applied straight to the school.
I did. And so I had got hired. I was headed to teach English in China the fall of 2019. So the summer of 2019, I moved back home to Dallas, Texas. That's my hometown.
Yeah.
And I went to visit my parents, my family, my friends, because I wanted to say my goodbyes. And come to find out, Vicky, that my mother was not in the best of health. And so I decided I had to make an executive decision because there's nobody here. I'm the only child left. My oldest sister, Shawnette Michonne Anderson, she died in 2011 when I moved to St. Louis. So I'm the only child left. And so I made this decision that I needed to stay here in Dallas to take care of my mom. So I didn't go to teach China. I didn't go to teach in China. I have been through, as a human, I've experienced so many complications and trauma. I was molested by my father. I've been through domestic violence situations with my ex-husband. I lost my children and during the domestic violence situations with my children. So my children are separated from me. That's probably the most horrific experience that I battled today. Being separated from my children. I'm looking at my oldest son, Joseph Jr., will be 18 in a couple of years. So I'm looking forward to him. Yes, I'm looking forward to him graduating and hopefully coming to find me and coming to be with me. As I stated earlier, I wrote my book, Mommy and Daddy, Do You Still Love Me? For my 4 children, Joseph Jr., Frenchaire 2, Melchizedek, and Sarai, because I don't get to talk to them. And I'm sure there are adults and children who experience the same thing, that they miss their parents. On the flip side, I miss my children, and so I wrote that book for them. I am just really an artsy person. Lately, I've just been working. I started a new career, so I'm working, and I come on this podcast. I've been promoting my books on the podcast. I'm grateful for all the bookstores that are carrying my book. Like, that to me is a mini miracle. That
because they believe in what you believe.
Yeah. So that's really about me. I love to paint. I'm an artist, essentially. I love to paint. If you look into me, you'll see that I have paintings. And I put my paintings on collection of items. I do that. I also dibbled and dabbled in producing music.
Yes, I remember.
Yes. So I do have an album.
You remember we did a session with you on my radio show.
We did.
Frenchaire, you are a multi-talented, amazing woman.
Thank you.
And for your journey that you've been, being a mother of 4, and one of these days we should talk more about that journey. Being kind of like torn. Having your children torn away from you, and that must be quite a horrendous experience. Frenchaire, before we say goodbye to each other, 11:38 Singapore time here. It's such an honor to have you on the platform all the way from Louisiana, right?
Dallas, Texas. Almost
Dallas,
close.
Texas. Oh, yes, you're in Texas. Huge place, Texas.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, it's such a miracle that we met in the pandemic, via the digital Facebook world, the metaverse. And definitely we will share a lot of things. And that's what I like, coming back to my guests again and looking at them and excavating their stories, because, we are multifaceted. We've got a life of journeys. And 30 minutes doesn't do us justice just to tell a story, right? So I'm always glad to have you back again, and then probably have you back again to tell us and the audience, the viewers and listeners, more of your stories, Frenchaire?
Vicky Esther, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. You make sure you get everything in. You're a really awesome woman, and I'm really grateful that we did connect socially. And I just think that you're doing some amazing things. I have a lot to learn from you. And so just so grateful that we collaborate, Vicky Esther, because I'm always wanting to do something with, if it got something to do with you, I'm there. I'm there. So I
Thank
just
you.
appreciate you
Well, I
inviting me.
appreciate you. I appreciate you too. And because your book stuck so much in my mind, I think that's why the bookstores are carrying your book, because you've got such a huge story, a life story to tell, and also your mission behind your podcast. I can see you are a woman who live beyond yourself. You are a woman who give. And also you are multi-talented. You're an artist, you're a singer, you're a music maker. I hope to talk to you again, Frenchaire. The next 10 seconds, like to wrap up with your brand and your final philosophy, your word. Take it away, Frenchaire.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Vicky Esther, again. BNS LLC is about promoting Black and Brown business owners, while I just really want to be a testimony to people, to let them know that you can go through trauma, you can go through bad things, but that's not the end of it. Your past, you are not your past. And I'm just want to be a test. I am a light and a testimony to the world, to let them know that you can go through terrible or tough and traumatic things, but you still can come out on ahead on the other side. You can be a blessing to others as you grow, and that's what my desire is, to just be a light to others, and a model to let you know that you can go through tough times, but you can come out on the other side bright and impactful. Thank you.
Well said, Frenchaire. Well said. We have such I should say that in the last 35 minutes, you had given a wealth of information, right, for Black business owners or minority business owners. Frenchaire, we should connect again and talk on a social level again. And before I sign off and before I say goodbye to our audience and to you, Frenchaire, the purpose of me coming back to you and to all the other collaborators, because I always feel that, we build upon our communication. I met you in 2021, early part of 2021. You came onto my radio show. We showcased you as an artist, as a musician. And then we talked about you having, the comeback story. If you do remember, we talked about the comeback story, but you lost your money.
Yeah.
And then we talked about your book. And then I came onto the show. I always feel that there is such a need for us to build upon communication. That's where we find commonalities even between podcasters, right? Yes. And I think the audience do appreciate knowing you, knowing the person deeper and deeper and deeper, not just for a 30-minute show. If you know what I'm trying to say, it is important for the audience to know you. And that's why I'm inviting people to come onto my show again, because it is important for me to know you and your story, and to bring out the best of you to the audience, and to bring out your life journeys as learning experiences, learning points for all of us. I think that's so important as podcasters we do, to build upon each other's conversations again, and getting it deeper, higher, broader, wider. You know what I'm trying to say, Frenchaire?
Yes, building relationships is very important, and so that's basically what we've been doing, and I appreciate that.
I do appreciate you so much, Frenchaire. All the best to you. Hope we can connect together. And ladies and gentlemen, watch out for a new release, Nuggets, Gold Nuggets for Entrepreneurs. That will be the project for 2022. We'll talk more about the book a little bit later on, but the objective today is really to showcase Frenchaire, her expertise, and her experience in the Black business world, in the Black economy. Thank you, Frenchaire, once again, and would like to welcome you to Singapore, and then we connect again. Frenchaire, thanks.
Thank you so much, Vicky Esther. I appreciate it for having me on the show again.
Yeah, thanks for coming on again. We'll connect again on Facebook.
Bye.
Bye.